Hey, what is up, fantasy freaks? It is your boys, Rick Kamla and Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. Fantasy NBA today, and after a voluminous Monday night, we only get 4 games on Tuesday's slate, but we'll dive in. We'll give you full breakdowns after we tell you about our great sponsor, Bet Online. They continue to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, and UFC. BetOnline is your number one sports betting source for the new year. Every touchdown, every three-pointer, and hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Doc, let's look ahead to Tuesday night here and start with Houston and Atlanta. Houston gets the thrilling victory at Boston on Monday. Atlanta goes to Minnesota extremely shorthanded, and it gets beat by the Minnesota Timberwolves. I just want to tip it off with this. I feel like Trae Young and Dyson Daniels got a rest game on Monday night, and I feel like they will both be back on the wood at State Farm Arena against Houston on Tuesday night. What's up, dude? Talk to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Eaton Wallace played well for the Hawks yesterday. This should be a really fun game. That Houston win over Boston was amazing, right? Amen Thompson. So I do think Trae Young will play. I don't really know what's going on with Dyson. If you say it's rest, I'm going to believe it's rest. So hopefully they're both back, and that should be one of the games of the night. Too bad it's not on national TV.
So actually, I watch on League Pass, so I like that it's not on national TV because then I have to watch the TNT games. What do they call it? It's weird. It's like you watch it from the top of one of the baskets. It's like a video game view. It's weird, but you can watch the game. I do want to say this. Like, I feel like Trae Young's going to play, but I also feel like he's a fade in this game. If you want to go under on a point prop, under on a 3-ball prop, I'm not mad at you, okay? Amen Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, Tari Eason. My God, the waves of defenders that Houston can throw at you. Just talk to Jason Tatum. Just talk to Jaylen Brown. Okay, these guys, the champs, just dealt with that tornado up there at TD Garden. I also think that you fade Jalen Green in this game. He didn't play well on Monday, but he did play through he got hit in the left eye and had a bandage under it, and he left in the first half, and it was questionable whether he would come back, and it was a Warrior performance, but now he's going to have Dyson Daniels on him. Again, if Dyson Daniels plays, and I think he will, Daniels probably will be the blanket guy on Jalen Green. And so just kind of keep your eye out for Trae and Jalen Green with unders or at least fades. Doc, both centers here, Alpi Şengün and Onyeka Okongwu, that should be an absolute battle in the post. Onyeka over the last 2 weeks has gone 16, 12, and 3, 1.1 blocks, 1.6 steals, and almost a 3 per game. Şengün is a 19, 10, and 5 guy on the year. He's on my all-star team. That's going to be a hell of a battle in the hole, Doc.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert kind of stopped Okongwu last night. I was a little surprised to see that. They got into it. That was fun. But he only hit 2 of 9 shots in that game, so he's going to be looking for a bounce back game here, I think. And hopefully he gets it. And then I've kind of been writing in some of my stuff that DeAndre Hunter is a fade. But when Dyson is out, and when Trae is out, and when Bogey Bogdanovic gets a DNP CD, I'm assuming that was a rest game as well. DeAndre Hunter is certainly capable of big things. He had 35 points on Monday night with 4 3-pointers. So I've been saying fade Hunter. I still feel that way, but he had a good one last game. Dude, I'm with you. I think Houston's defense is swarming, and I don't like betting or playing against Houston's defense with any of my guys, whether it be guards or big men, man. Amen Thompson is a freak.
Took a running back against the Baltimore Ravens. He's not going to have a big game. Your running back's not going to have a big game. He might have 50 yards and a touchdown the hard way on 20 carries. He's not going to have a big game. When you go against Houston, when you go to OKC, you know, Donovan Mitchell, hello, the torture chamber, you're just not going to have a big game. And so let's talk about Jalen Johnson here, Doc. I want to know your level of concern on a scale of 1 to 10. He's got the left shoulder injury right now. He is out undergoing further testing. That is the last update that we have gotten here. So you go first. What's your level of concern on Jalen Johnson?
On a scale of 10, and as a Jalen Johnson manager everywhere, it's like a 9. Like maybe a 9.5. I mean, it's pretty bad. I don't like the lack of information. I don't like the fact that we're still doing evaluations. I assume he's spending a lot of time in a tube with loud noises going on, as in an MRI machine. And shoulders are tough, man. Like Casey broke her shoulder this summer, and it's devastating. Like you can't do anything if you have a broken shoulder. And I don't think his shoulder is broken, but something's wrong with it. I am extremely concerned.
That doesn't make me feel better about it. My level of concern is at a 7 right now. After listening to you, maybe I'll crank it up to an 8. So he had the right shoulder, came back, and now it's the left shoulder. That's not good. I mean, he's a double-double guy. He's a rebound guy. He's a 20, 10, and 5 guy this year, okay? That involves a lot of this. And if your shoulder's, messed up, then you can't play. You can't be at your best. That's concerning. But, Doc, also now we're starting to develop a little bit of a book on Jalen Johnson, and it's not savory, okay? Last year, you remember, pardon me, I forget which ankle he rolled, right? Right or left, who cares? He kept rolling the same ankle. He would roll it, miss a week, come back, 3 games, go back out, miss 2 weeks, come back, play 5 games, and then I think he was done for the year after that, after he thrice rolled the ankle, right? And now it's the shoulders dogging you earlier in the year, now the other shoulder, okay? So this is 2 years now haunted by injuries, Doc. That's concerning for me. He's a young guy. I'm not saying this defines him, but his story is being told in real time. We don't know how this ultimately goes. Is he going to the Hall of Fame? Is he going to be an 8-time All-Star? Or is he going to be a tremendously talented yet injury-hit player? Okay, so that's also a concern of mine here, Doc. You know what does mitigate my concern is the fact that the Atlanta Hawks will not enter the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. There's no shutdown happening. When Jalen Johnson is cleared, he will play. So I do still feel confident that he will help us, down the stretch in the fantasy playoffs and that kind of thing. Do you have him? No, Kleiss has him in 30 deep. You don't. I thought you might have had him in 30 deep, but David Kleiss has him in 30 deep.
Yeah, I'm ready to call him a risky draft pick next year, but if it happens again next year, I will. Because you're right. I mean, it's always something with Jalen Johnson. We finally got to see him in the open court running free this year, and it was awesome. It was so fun. And now here we are, where we don't know if or when we're going to see him again.
It sucks, man. Doc, give me a streamer from this game. I give you Vit Krejci. I give you Zachary Sachet, who came back on Monday night with a decent line, 12-7 with some goodies, I think it was. I got a lot of box score lines in my head. And then Cam Whitmore, who missed Monday's game. I believe that was with an illness. I presume that he will play in this game at Atlanta. So Krejci, Reese Sachet, and assuming Cam Whitmore plays, which of those 3 guys you're going with?
Krejci let me down tonight. I needed a little bit more than 4 points from him. And with all those guys out, I thought it was a lock that he'd score 10 points and have, 5 assists. It shouldn't have been that hard. So that was a little concerning. Clint Capella keeps doing it, man. He had 10 points, 15 boards last night. Even with Okongwu starting and doing everything. But out of those guys, I'm going to go Cam Whitmore, your guy.
You're going Cam Whitmore. I'm going to go with V. Krejci. I'm going to go with V. Krejci because I have a theory, Doc. I think Trae Young and Dyson Daniels are going to be back for this game. I do not, however, believe that Jalen Johnson's going to play in this game. That to me is the sweet spot for V, because in this game he was kind of in over his head, right? It was a lot on his plate. You don't have Trae, you don't have Daniels, a lot of eyes on him, a lot of defensive attention on him, and he shrunk. Okay, and he's going to be back at home here, right? Role players play better at home. So I think V. Krejci's going to have a game. Like with Trae Young and Dyson Daniels back, he can just get back into the V. Krejci role and do his 12, 3, and 5 with 1 and 1 and 2 threes. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, we thank you for watching the Fantasy NBA Today podcast here on the Sports Ethos Fantasy Basketball Network and our YouTube channel, okay? Thank you, guys. Now, help us out. Go to sportsethos.com and subscribe, okay? And subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. Doc, we are previewing Tuesday night slate. We got Lakers at Sixers. Ooh, this should be a good one. Paul George and Joel Embiid and LeBron James and Anthony Davis to the Philly side of this equation has crumbled like a house of cards, okay? Paul George will miss this game. Shocking. Oh, my God. 5th finger injury on his left hand. Whatever the F that frickin' means, okay? He had an MRI. He hurt the finger over the weekend. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Joel Embiid, he will miss Philadelphia's next 2 games. Okay. And probably more. Kyle Neubeck writes that his knee has responded well to treatment. I'd make a hand gesture, but we're a family show. And Embiid was a partial participant in Monday's practice. Who cares? He's not playing the next 2 games, and nobody has any freaking clue when this guy's going to come back and play. It's very, very simple, okay? Yabusele is a go, even against Anthony Davis. And Kelly Oubre, who is rolling, Doc. My God, is he having a good year for Nick Nurse in Philadelphia. And I got another one for you here. His name is Eric Gordon. That's the streamer you want. Over the last week, he's 12 points and 3 threes per game. Ricky Council, they got too many guys. He's caught up in the soup right now. I don't trust that thing. Even with Paul George out, the Ricky Council thing I don't think is going to activate. And your guy, Justin Edwards, plays big minutes, but never does anything.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Anthony Davis in this game. In the first, he had like 22 and 10 in the first quarter on Monday night against Charlotte and Mark, what's his name? Williams. This Joel Embiid stuff, just what a bummer. One thing I like about the Lakers is their rotation is 30 minutes for everybody, for the 5 starters, maybe 35. And then everybody else plays 15 minutes. Like, that's the way it's supposed to be. And there's not a ton of guys playing. It's only like a 9-man rotation. So that makes Max Christie still streamable to me. 3 threes, 10 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and a block on Monday. The defensive stats are lacking for him. He's inconsistent. Like, I don't love Max Christie, but on a short night with just a few games, along with who you mentioned for the Sixers, I like Max Christie.
And I do too. Doc. Eric Gordon is a guy who usually vexes me. It's usually like set up like this, and especially against a good team, right? An LA team. Eric Gordon would probably love for the Lakers to holler at him and wink at him and rescue him from that Philly thing. So these guys get up for a matchup like that. It's Bron, it's Davis. Gordon probably knows these guys well. Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent did not play on Monday. I smell rest game at Charlotte. I presume they'll be back for this one, which would change the computations for Dorian Finney-Smith, Dalton Connect, and all those types of guys. Not that you're really hot on any of them for fantasy anyway. I do wonder if LeBron or Davis will sit out this game, Doc, due to rest, with no Joel Embiid and no Paul George. They probably will play. Just saying. I do have a little thought in my brain that maybe JJ Redick, but they don't really roll that way. Like
I
we're
mean,
winning right now.
it's a back-to-back.
Guys, go ahead.
It's a back-to-back, though, man. And those guys are questionable every game. I don't know. If LeBron and AD both play, then we've got a blowout factor, and you got to be careful there because people could be sitting out the fourth quarter. If LeBron or AD sit this one out, then it should be a game. So I think you're going to want to pay attention, before this one tips off to see who's playing and who's not. Not that you wouldn't anyway. And I'm with you, Eric Gordon, with all those guys out, he's going to be out there shooting threes. We know that. So he's a decent streamer. Max, he's going to score 40. You are muted.
Sorry. Eric Gordon's probably going to hit 4 of 12 shots, but 3 of them are going to be threes. Like, he's not going to shoot 50%. He's going to be out at 25 feet jack, and he may go 4 of 12, but he's going to get you 3 threes in double-figure points. I just want to give a quick shout-out to Austin Reeves, okay? Over the last month, he's at 24 and 8 with a steal and 2.5 threes. The ascension of Austin Reeves has been really fun to watch. He has turned into an absolute fantasy monster. I shouldn't say it that way. A fantasy monster is like Giannis, but Reeves has been really, really good. Just wanted to shout him out. All right, Doc, Utah at Golden State. The Utah side is going to be very complicated for us here. We'll get to this in a minute because the injury report is going to tell us the stories, and we don't have the injury report just yet. I have a Steph Curry take for you, Doc. The point prop over and the 3-ball over on Steph Curry. I wouldn't add another stake because making a parlay, no, you don't parlay it. I don't like parlays. I don't think it's an advantageous bet for you, okay? What I would do is I would play the point prop over and I would play the 3-ball prop over, and I'm not going to lose both of them, and I'm probably going to hit both of them, okay? But check this out. Steph Curry on Saturday against the Lakers sucked. 13 points on 4 of 17. He is beyond due. It's a great matchup at home against Utah. Hello. Second of a back-to-back. Hello. And don't worry about a blowout factor, okay? Because it probably will be. But for it to be a blowout, Steph Curry's going to have 30-plus points, okay? And he will do that in 3 quarters in this game. I'm telling you, he's going to hit a heater. Doc, Steph Curry has had 4 duds in a row. 4. That's a week of bad basketball from Steph Curry, in which he has shot 38% from the field and averaged 16 points per game. At home against Utah? Come on, bro. This is an explosion waiting to happen for Steph Curry. So get on the train with me, Doc.
I don't know if I can, Rick. He's only scored 30 and 31 and 31 so he's barely gotten over 30 in 3 of his last 12 games, 13 games, probably more than that, about 13. The duds you spoke of, 13 points, 21 points, 14 points, 18 points. Then there's a 17 on January 9th. There's 11 points on December 30th. I don't know what's going on, man, but we have not seen a Steph Curry explosion since he had 38 on Christmas Day. He's been kind of dudified since then. Maybe it happens against Utah, but is Utah going to play their guys? Is this going to be a blowout? Is Curry going to need to play in the fourth quarter? I'm not as confident of a Curry explosion as you are, but I'm hopeful that you're right.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. We don't always co-sign each other's work right here. A lot of times we do, but that is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I am Rick Kamla. We're the Fantasy NBA. Today,
you're right. All right. Okay. I saw you.
It's cool. It's cool. We can work with that. Brandon Pajemski. Wait a minute. I got to look at the ice. Is the ice safe to walk out on? It's Steve Kerr, and he's a bench player. No, but I'm walking out on the ice anyway, but it's not safe, Doc. I may fall through the ice Metallica style and you never see me again, okay? Brandon Pajemski, he reluctantly said, is back on the fantasy radar. Can we just say that and not have an ellipsis after it? We can't because it's Steve Kerr. Doc, talk to me, okay? The last 2 games, Pajemski's been good. There's been goodies, okay? Saturday against the Lakers in 24 minutes off the bench because, of course, he can't play more minutes than that. He went 17, 3, and 5, 2 steals and 3 threes. Are you ready to rip back up the Poach bus or what?
No. I don't trust any of them, man. I don't even trust Steph Curry right now. What makes you think I'm going to trust Pajemski? It's all Steve Kerr related. Let's not forget December 28th. Well, that's a long time ago. That's the game he got hurt. Never mind. So he's only been back for 2 games. He had 10 in one, 17 in the other. Played 21 and 24 minutes. Streamer on a quiet night, sure. I'm good with that. I don't trust the Warriors for streamers, but I think if I had to pick one, I would probably go with him.
So I was just going to ask you that. Dennis Schroeder, Moses Moody's been hitting 10 plus a lot. Buddy Hield is in the starting lineup and playing low minutes. Out of all those guys, you're going Pajemski.
Well, Hield should be rostered, I would think, just because of his hot start. He's still on a bunch of teams. You can't go pick up Andrew Wiggins. I used Moses Moody one time this year, and I think Kerr played him 4 minutes. So I'm not doing that again. Mm-hmm. You can't trust Steve Kerr's favorite player, I think, is Guy Santos. Can't really trust him.
No, I think it's Quentin Post, bro. Quentin Post is the new thing out there, man. He's the new Tito's pet.
For a while, it was Pat Spencer, and then it was Lindy Waters for a while, too. So Kerr can't make up his mind, man. No, I would like to be able to trust Dennis Schroeder, but you can't. So I try not to mess with Golden State, man.
I hear you. If I had to go with one of their guys, it would be Pajemski. I feel like there's a little surge with him right now until, of course, Steve Kerr blank blocks it. All right, Doc, let's get into this Utah thing. Very difficult, all right? Kessler and Collins did not play on Monday. Is it a rest game? I certainly hope so for Walker Kessler. I don't know about John Collins. He misses every game. Larry Markkinen and Jordan Clarkson. Yeah, Clarkson. He's back. They both played on Monday. Second of a back-to-back at Golden State. Do they play? I don't know. Probably not. Colin Sexton. He played on Monday. Does he play in the second of a back-to-back? So we have to work theoretically here. I believe that Kessler is going to come back. I believe that these guys probably will not play the second of back-to-backs here. So I've got a couple of streamers for the people, Doc. Actually, I'm going to give you the streamers and you sort them out, okay? Let me set you up here. Isaiah Collier, Svi Mikhailuk, Filipowski, the rookie out of Duke, and Eubanks, okay? Because 2 or 3 of these guys could be really good streamers on Tuesday night on a light 4-game night, okay? Stack them. Who are you picking?
Well, you forgot my guy, Bryce Sensabaugh, who I like for some reason. I don't know why. I'm like Steve Kerr with Bryce Sensabaugh. Like, he's my scrub that is my flavor of the month. The answer for me is always going to be Isaiah Collier, I believe, even though he's not exactly killing it right now. So I think I would go Collier first just because I believe he has the most talent out of those guys. Your guy, Svi Mikhailuk, has been kind of hot. And I think I would go with him second on that list. Who else did you say? Filipowski and Eubanks?
Yeah.
And I hope if Kessler doesn't play or if Collins doesn't play, then yeah, I think they're worth a look. But I'm going with those other guys first.
Isaiah Collier is starting over Keontae George right now. Deal with that. Isaiah Collier's good to go, folks. Jordan Clarkson came back tonight. Isaiah Collier still started. Colin Sexton came back tonight. Isaiah Collier still started. Okay, good to go. I would say about Isaiah Collier, and Collier had a very good line on Monday night. Okay, 12, 2, and 8, 3 steals, 6 of 9 shooting. He was very, very good. So there are two guys, Scoot Henderson and Isaiah Collier. Do not cut them. Even if they have a lame game, don't cut them, okay? Because we told you not to cut Scoot Henderson. What did he do, Doc? He spiked up for a 25-point performance Saturday, Sunday. I can't remember what day it was, okay? Don't cut these guys. All right, so we've made the point right there. But I agree with Doc. Collier would be number one. Svi Mikhailiuk didn't play on Monday. That probably means he's going to play 30 minutes on Tuesday, okay? So if you find out that Markkanen's out, Clarkson's out, Sexton is out, boom, activate Svi Mikhailiuk. He'll be a terrific streamer for you. And if Kessler happens to be out of this game, the guy I want is Eubanks, who started on Monday. He had 10 rebounds, and he does some activity stuff. Filipowski would be the last of that group. Make sure you download the Sports Ethos app. It's completely free, keeps you updated on all the news that impacts your fantasy teams, MLB, NFL, and of course, our beloved NBA. We give you the tools to win your fantasy basketball league. Now, finally, Doc, Milwaukee at Portland on Tuesday. It's the Damian Lillard Bowl. Damian Lillard, and I'm just going to focus on this game, this meeting, because Damian Lillard, of course, arguably, you got Clyde, you got Walton. He's up there with one of the best Blazers of all time. I'll just say it that way right now. LaMarcus Aldridge also comes from it. So it's a big deal whenever he plays the Blazers. Doc, he has to play better in this game, okay? Let me take you through the meeting so far against the Portland Trail Blazers. Some of the numbers have been okay, but the efficiency's been awful. Last year at home, 31 points, 7 of 21 shooting, 4 of 12 on 3. Last year at Portland, first return back there, 25 points, 6 and 7, 9 of 23 shooting, 3 of 13 from 3. This year, first meeting, at home in Milwaukee, he had 16 points, 5 of 15 shooting, 2 of 7 from 3. Damian Lillard's shooting has been horrendous in all 3 matchups with his former team. Like the Steph Curry thing, these guys are too good to stay down. I also believe in the principle of due. I also believe in the law of averages. I also believe in statistical corrections, and I think all of that's going to happen here. Damian Lillard, 35% from the field. The numbers I gave you, if you add them up, it's 35% from the field and 28% from 3. Okay? Is that, Portland, they've got all these defensive studs? No. For whatever reason, Damian Lillard is missing shots against this team. So I believe, Doc, that the point prop over is in play here. The 3-point made prop is in play here for Damian Lillard, just like Steph Curry. And you know what, Doc? If you want to parlay Steph Curry over, Dame over on their point prop and their 3 prop and make it a 4-team or a 4-leg parlay, that is a parlay that I would actually put some money on, dude.
I agree with you on this one. And mainly I agree with you because Damian Lillard, unlike Steph Curry, is hot. He had 35 on Monday, 29 with a triple-double on Saturday, 29 with a triple-double on Thursday, 25, 26, 30. Like, he's playing really well right now. And Milwaukee's cruising, man. They're winning so many of the games now. Like, they are making a run. And I think this is going to be the game where he blows up in Portland. It's going to be Dame time. He's going to be seeing all his old buddies. Everybody who works at the arena is going to be dapping him up. I think he's going to come out and have a monster game. I think it's a good call.
All right, Doc, do we get a Scoot Henderson game? Because Scoot was handpicked to replace Damian Lillard. So Scoot is very connected to the Damian Lillard thing. He's the handpicked replacement. Do we get a Scoot game, even if it's off the bench behind Simons?
We should. I mean, he's been really good, man. He had that one monster game a couple weeks ago where he had 39 points and a bunch of stuff, and it kind of lit his fire, I think. And then he was great for the next 4 or 5 games in a row. Then he had 2 complete duds. Minutes were down. Didn't make a lot of sense. Portland got wins in both those games, but he bounced back on Sunday with 25, 5, steal, block, 5 threes. So I believe in Scoot Henderson. I'm going to take the lumps with the good stuff. And I don't know if his coaches are going to be up for this game, but he's going to be up for this game. He wants to go out and at least try to hang with Damian Lillard. It should be a very fun shootout.
There is one thing that many, but there's one key thing that I've learned about Scoot Henderson, Doc. He is a rise to the occasion player. He's a rise to the occasion player. You get him at crypto against Braun. You get him in a Kevin Durant game. He gets up for those games. Tuesday night at Charlotte, maybe he's not fired up for LaMelo Ball. But when you get him on a stage like this, Dame's coming back into town, Scoot Henderson's a dog. He's going to be out there. This dude's not coming in here in my arena, and so he's going to plug into that. Like minimum 12 points and 6 assists for me from Scoot Henderson. Those are the absolute minimum. Probably going to be like a 17-8 type of game off the bench. Chauncey, are you going to let him play that much, Chauncey? Please do. Doc, Tumani Kamara is going off. Last week, over the last week, he's gone 17, 7, and 3, almost a block, 1.3 steals, 2.3 threes. So I give you, DeAndre Ayton is questionable for this game. So I give you, I won't throw Banton in here because the minutes aren't there for him right now yet. Kamara, Klingon, Robert Williams. Don't worry about categories, okay? Just like, dude, who are you? Are you streaming Kamara, who's still unrostered, Klingon, or Robert Williams?
Kamara. I don't trust Robert Williams. Klingon's coming back from injury and kind of moving slow, looking a little sloth-like at times. Kamara's just out there balling. Him and Denny Avdia are both just cruising right now, and it's fun to watch. And also, I think, as far as Delano Banton goes, with all the talking we just did about Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson, this is not going to be a Delano Banton game, I don't think.
This is not going to be a Banton game. The Banton games are going to come in March, and we're not in March yet. Maybe the second half of February, but we're still about 3 weeks out from the Banton games, I believe. And Tumani Kamara would be my streamer pick out of that group as well. Doc, anything else? We have previewed the 4-game slate. Anything you want to add, or are we out of here?
I'm going to ask you a question while we have time, because we didn't have time in last night's show. There were too many games to cover. Somebody hit me on Twitter and asked me if I could use my connections at ESPN to get suspended players eligible for the IR. Do you think suspended players should be allowed to be put on fantasy IRs?
Yes.
My first reaction is no. But I'm open. I mean, I could be talked into it.
This is a preference thing. And I like these fantasy philosophical debates. I don't like roster restrictions. I don't like Yahoo leagues that have 4 pickups in a week period. That's not enough. Okay, I'm a very busy owner. I know there's a lot of busy owners out there. 4, I feel handcuffed all week. I want to make pickups. I don't want to every single pickup. I've got to think about it like it's life and death. I don't like that. So with this, Doc, I don't know. It's like, because you get to that point in leagues, dude, where you're full, right? Okay, and you're trying to win. So your injured spots are full. You can't move guys down there. So now you got to carry a suspended guy, and you're losing all those man games. Do you cut the suspended guy? Who is the suspended guy that we're talking about? Who's the guy in question here?
Well, I would assume it's James Butler, who is now out indefinitely again with an indefinite suspension by the Heat. Is anyone else it's suspended right now?
To me, no, I wasn't in a Jimmy Butler mind frame with that. No, I think you should. I don't think you as a fantasy manager should be penalized for Jimmy Butler's dumbassery. I think you should be able to conveniently put him in an injured spot, go pick somebody else up, and keep him moving and keep trying to win games rather than you're not going to drop Jimmy Butler. And that's what that rule is putting you in position to do. Right? Unless if you're a non-competitive fantasy manager, then you just lose the man games and you lose games or you go 4-4 every week. No, I'm trying to win here. So you can't miss man games like that.
Yeah, but it also, I mean, they're not injured. He's not injured. They can't put suspended players on the injured list in the NBA. Or at least they're not supposed to. And you knew that drafting Jimmy Butler was coming with a certain amount of risk. Now, I don't think any of us saw him continuing his beef with Pat Riley from last year and now literally backing himself into a corner where Pat Riley is, F you, I don't care. You are gone. You are out of sight, out of mind. I'll do it with what's here. And if somebody actually wants to trade for you, I'll talk to them. Otherwise, I don't care. So is that fair to Jimmy Butler's fantasy manager that now they're stuck with a guy they took in the third round and they can't do anything with him and we have no idea when he's going to play again? It's not fair, but it sort of is what it is. And I have a feeling that if I bring this up to the guys at ESPN, which I will, and I'll let them make a decision. But I'm sure they've talked about it before, and I'm sure that the philosophy is probably, dude's not injured. You can't put him on IR unless he's injured. And I just think that's what it's going to be. But I see both sides of it, man. If Jimmy Butler was on my rosters, maybe I'd feel differently about this. But I'm smarter than
dude. You don't have any Jimmy Butler. I don't have any Jimmy Butler. We are not invested in this at all. You were getting completely impartial opinions from us. I don't know. I guess this is the hippie coming out in me. This is the tree hugger and the everybody, Will Ferrell and Semi-Pro. Everybody love everybody, like let's just be able to move into the IR. Let's make it easier on the manager that has Jimmy Butler because it's been an absolute ridiculous buzzkill to own him this year. Now, Doc, we did tell everybody to fade the living out of Jimmy Butler in the preseason. So if you kind of lived and died in the preseason of what your boys were saying, then you do not have this Jimmy Butler headache. But for Steve Alexander, for our great producer, Andre Lemouche, I am Rick Kamla. Thank you for tuning into this episode as we preview Tuesday night. We'll be back Tuesday at about midnight following the games to break it all down. Remember, subscribe to us, the Sports Ethos YouTube channel, Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed. Leave us a 5-star review. And remember, this show is brought to you by BetOnline.